So I used to have this cat, and crazy thing about this cat was it was pretty lazy. It's kind of fat and lazy, and it just loved sleeping in the sun. It was its thing. You know, I lived in this little town called Fairfax, and on this hill, on this really steep hill, and this cat used to sleep on these steps. You had to go down these steep steps to get down to the road. And it was kind of treacherous, and it wasn't like the best house, and the steps weren't that well done. There were these old cement steps. And you're often carrying something, you know, I had young kids at the time, and sometimes you're carrying a kid in your arm and everything, and you're going down these steps, you know. And Cisco was the name of the cat. This cat used to always sit on these stairs. It would lay on the stairs, and he liked to lay against the back of the step so it could just get the sun. It was its favorite spot. But it would never sleep and hang out on the same step. It was always on a different spot. You would be going down and you'd think, oh, good, he's not here. But then you get to the last step and you almost step on this cat. One time I stepped on his tail. Another time I almost stepped on his foot. This cat was always on these steps. Now, the crazy thing was, it was this old cement steps, and Cisco was also gray. Like, you couldn't see this damn cat. It was the exact same color as the step. And he just laid there, and he got so flat, he just laid out. And I kept almost stepping on this cat. It was so stressful. You know, and you try and shoo him away with your foot, and he didn't want to move, so you'd have to step over him. And I got groceries, you know. So it was just this funny thing with this cat. But I loved this cat, not so much because he was so lazy, which is kind of great, you know, and cats that just make you feel like you're not stressed out because they're super chill. But what I loved about Cisco was this color. He was the most beautiful gray color. And I remember once I was in the studio and I was struggling and I was trying to make some gray colors, you know, and Cisco, this was when my studio was in like this small part of the garage. And I was trying to come up with this gray color, and gray's kind of tricky, you know, and to make a really beautiful one. And Cisco walked by and I saw this cat, and I'm like, that's the gray that I want to make, you know. And I kept looking at it, and I try and mix it up and everything. Anyway, long story short is I ended up making this gray color that was the gray, and I called it Cisco Gray. And it's actually one of the colors that we sell in the Art to Life store. It was a color that I brought to workshops early on, and everyone loved it as much as I did. So we made more of it. I came up with a recipe, and it's one of the paint colors that is, we probably sell almost more than any other color. And what's surprising to me is this gray color. There aren't many gray colors like this that you can buy. You know, you can go to the store and Liquitex makes colors. People they don't sell this color. So we do, and I love it. And I thought today I would show you how I make it, because there's something in it that you'd be surprised how much of something's in it, a color that makes it kind of a cool gray, beautiful gray. I shouldn't say cool, because it's actually a warm gray. But don't tell anyone, because I don't want this to get out, because if you guys all know how to make this, then maybe and everyone finds out, then no one will buy it from us. So be sure not to tell anybody about this. Okay, so here's the thing. You can use a whole bunch of colors. It's almost the recipe, which I don't have here, but I know how to make it. You can add a whole bunch of colors. The more colors you add into gray, the better and richer it generally becomes. That's one thing that I've discovered about gray. You know, in the military, they call it battleship gray, all those ships and everything. And it's a real drab gray. It's really because it's just like black and white, and it just is dead, it's flat. So Cisco Gray is made from a whole bunch of colors. So I'm gonna mix it up just kind of right here. And it doesn't matter where you start from, but I'm going to kind of mix it up. I'm going to start with, you can just grab a whole bunch of different colors, okay? And this is completely random, because color mixing which is, you know, I'll talk about that on another tape. We go way into this in the Creative Visionary program, but color mixing and learning to mix color and getting to any color from any other color is super liberating. But, you know, you don't have to put out just these colors. You can put out any colors to start this thing. So let's just see. I'm going to take this and I'm going to mix these all together. Okay, and I'm going to look at this color here, which is now kind of a real browny color. And gray, I'll show you, gray is, you know, obviously gray is kind of not as brown as this. So I'll bring some white into this. And it's starting to get more gray, but look at how cold it is. It's kind of greeny gray. You often need to add black to get the gray, to kill the color in it. So add a little black to it. And you're starting to get kind of this really rich gray. Now, when I get it like this, generally what happens is it's very cool, right? These grays tend to be really cool. But the secret ingredients to making Cisco Gray is orange. Having warmth, a lot of orange in it. So look at this. I put this in and I can add a little bit more. I can get it. It's a little darker. I add more orange. A little too much orange. See how it's going kind of brown? So I can cool it down with a little gray. And then I got to lighten it up a little bit. And now we're starting to get the color of those steps in that little town. These are the colors of the steps. And that right there is Cisco Gray. It's a beautiful gray. I love warm grays. And notice how amazing they look when you bring in red, like other warm colors next to it. Look at how beautiful that is. I love this color. I love it so much more than these kind of colder grays. I mean, of course, it's all in context. But there you have it. This is a fantastic gray. Check it out. Let me know, you know, if you know what you think about it. If you use this color or mix this color. It took me a long time to understand that it's this orange that makes it kind of cool and unique. Let me know in the comments if this works for you or not. And again, you can start with any colors you want, which is kind of great when you've got a palette full of a whole bunch of stuff. You can just mix it together. The more colors that are in this, the better. For those of you who are new here and are just learning or have already got your whole art thing going, we got a really cool place where many of us are hanging out. It's called the Art to Life Artists Free Facebook group, and it's getting better and better and better. Everyone's invited. Everyone's doing such different stuff. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, I gotta admit. You go in there and you just start seeing all kinds of things. But it's fun. It's better than TV by far. So let us know, you know, how it goes, and I hope to see you in that group. There's a link down below that you can join. All right, guys, thanks so much. Hey, everyone, if you found this helpful, I have a whole lot more to teach, share, and inspire you with every single week. So please, join the Art to Life YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Okay, great. Let's do this.